Beautiful sunshine and an unusually warm day. This is a very short kickoff that goes to Sanjay Beach. And let's have a look at the offense. Steve Young will be the quarterback. He's been hot of lately. In front of him, a fine but small offensive line. Wallace, McIntyre, Sapolo, Tam, and Barton. Waters and Logan are the two runners. Rice and Taylor the wide receivers, and a fine tight end in Brent Jones. 1st and 10 San Francisco at their own 31.5. Jerry Rice. Young tried to go to him early. Incomplete. On defense for the Rams, Stokes, Gilbert, Boutte, and Robinson. Behind them, the three. Cisco. Here's Young to throw it again.
There you go.
Again, Rice, and through his hand.
Now, that's not the type of start that the 49ers were thinking of, or that Jerry Rice was thinking of. This game really started off funny. They wanted to get the ball to Rice. They bring him out of the backfield. He drops the first one. Then they give it to him again, and he drops the next one. The game started when Tony Zendejas kicked off. He fell down before he kicked off, and that ball just kind of flopped out of there. And then Rice drops two, and you wonder, what the heck's starting here?
An unfortunate beginning on both sides of the ball. Rice is to the right this time, and that's Brent Jones in motion, and Young back to throw it for the 3rd straight time. But as perhaps only he can do, he comes out running. Boutte made the stop with an assist from Michael Stewart. Short of the first down, however, by about a yard.
And that was a good start for the Ram defense, because what they wanted to do is take away Jerry Rice early. I think Jerry Rice helped him out a little. And then, again, when Steve Young, rush him and go after him, but react to him when he runs and make a play. And Boutte just did that.
Wilmsmeyer for the San Francisco offense. This is not his best. Sails off the inside of his foot and out of bounds quickly. So the Rams and T.J. Rubley, the quarterback, will start in pretty good shape. Rubley from Tulsa, 9th round pick last year. T.J. Rubley. Unusually confident when we talked to him yesterday and last night. Up by Tim McDonald. The 49ers have gone to a pretty steady diet of the 4-man front now with Fagan, but it's Merton Hanks starting at the right cornerback. Rubley on 2nd down. Bettis again. He is a big load.
Yeah, this game has really gotten off to a strange start. First of all, Zendejas goes to kick off. He falls down when he kicks off the ball. Then Jerry Rice drops two, and then they punt, and it looked like he punted a brick, and it went out of bounds. And Rubley comes in here with this good field position, which, of course, the Rams wanted with Rubley. The other thing they wanted to do is start off with
about 240, and he'll get the carry and get the first down. You talk about an enthusiastic guy, Bettis.
Back, and now he's finally a tailback, and he gets to wear that towel. He said the first time in his life he can wear a towel.
Doesn't really know how to wear it yet. But he swings it to the outside and lunges into 49er territory, about their 46. Well, first of all, that got to be more of a towel than that. I'd like to dry off with that.
Well, no, that's the thing. You can only wear one towel in the National Football League now, and it can only be 8 inches.
Rubley slides to the 49er 36. Stopped by Walter, but that's another Ram first down.
This is the thing that Rubley brings that we're talking about is you have to be excited and you have to be able to run. Because if you can't read, A rookie quarterback, a young quarterback, can't go 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers. He can look at 1 or 2, and then that clock goes off in his head, and if he doesn't find it by that second guy, he got to get on his horse. He has to start running.
And that's an added element that the Rams did not have with Jim Everett. This guy's quick. He's a good runner. Pass complete to Troy Drayton. And he exhibited a pretty strong arm right there. It wasn't very far, but it got there in a hurry.
And the other thing that's impressive about Rubley is not only how strong his arm are, but how quick the release is.
You can get rid of it in a hurry.
The best of all time.
2nd and 5. That's Bettis looking for some place to go inside the 49er 30 to about the 27. Bettis is so big and so strong. The Jets beat the Giants, as you can see.
Well, you know, he was bigger. I don't know if he was stronger or not, but when he came to training camp, he was over 250 pounds. He was like 252. And they said, I think you ought to lose a little weight. He said, what, about 5 pounds?
And he says he does feel quicker. Maybe he'd like to get a little bit smaller. Flag on the play.
Rams for the second time. In his second year, he said this job is a little bigger and a little tougher than he thought it was going to be.
A little tougher than the first time around, for sure. Here's Rubley. Pass is low and incomplete. Intended for Henry Ellard. Boy, he's had some big days here at Candlestick Park against the 49ers. Hagel is the holder. This will be right at 50. Last week, Rubley held. Zendejas and then Crouch. That's going to get there. 10 in a row from over 50 for Tony Zendejas. And the Rams lead it 3-0 with 8:43 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's a football brain. He's been with a number of teams, you know, the San Diego Chargers and Don Coryell. He's been here with the Rams, and a lot of that football that teams are playing, you know, now, like, you know, Norv Turner came from working with Ernie Zampese and the Rams, and now he's down there at Dallas. So a lot of the things that people are doing around the league have come from Ernie Zampese.
And when you go back further even, all of that really comes from Don Coryell and Air Coryell. What a contribution he made to this game.
Yeah, well, you look at, you know, you talk about Ernie Zampese, Joe Gibbs, Rod Dowhauer, Jim Hannaford. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys that came out of that dominant.
Return the kickoff, this time a little bit deeper by Zendejas. Wyman Henderson made the stop.
Well, this time he didn't fall down. You know, I was watching the film last week when the 49ers played here, and especially was where the baseball infield was when the Giants played here.
And of course, because of that, that's new sod where they are. Of course, this end of the field doesn't get as much sunshine. This is Ricky Warner. Hit. Picked up about a yard.
90. I mean, he weighs about 310 pounds. He's a real man and a real football player. He's going to be an all-pro for a long time.
Waters. Out of bounds, a flag on the play. That'll be a face mask. We'll go back. Well, we're not going to send you back to New York for an update. We were.
Now, we saw all those flags down there, Pat. They really got someone here because there's 4 flags. I mean, those officials, boom, 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 boom. They were throwing them from all over the joint. And then they all go and tell the referee what they were doing. See, all 4 of those guys threw a flag. Now they all got to go tell the referee what they got. You know, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? They don't say, what do you have? What do you got? You see, now Waters is going to straight arm right there. And there's Shane Conlon. He grabbed the mask to beat the straight arm. So you got the straight arm, then Conlon's trying to fight off the straight arm. And
They walked it off against the 49ers. Personal foul is called. I didn't see any contact. 2nd and 23. Rice moves in motion to his right. very good after he catches the ball. Tackle, a good tackle by Todd Light.
Yeah, you always talk about the, run Ricky Waters, throw the ball to Jerry Rice, but John Taylor's not a bad option. Yeah, because he was a great punt returner in this league and a heck of a wide receiver. And the thing that he does is after he catches the ball, he's still a very good runner.
3rd and 10. That penalty, that 15-yarder was for unnecessary roughness. Against whom, we don't know. For Rice from Young. For the 45 first down. Let's send you back to New York for an NFL update now. Greg Gumbel. Well,
Pat and John at Sun Devil Stadium. New Orleans, Brad Muster, 1-yard touchdown.
Yeah, one thing that they wanted to do was be physical with Jerry Rice. And you see them, they were physical there on the line of scrimmage. And then Michael Stewart made a physical tackle at the end. Then he tried to get a little more physical. And Jerry Rice said, okay, you can tackle me, but I don't have to take that other stuff.
Pass complete to Jamie Williams. They move into Ram territory at about the 49.
One thing that, being physical is good, but when the whistle blows, you have to stop being physical. And maybe doing that gave the 49er offense a little wake-up call, because I think they started off a little cautious, a little soft, and then they got up and said, okay, if that's where we're going to do it, let's go after him. And the 49ers now look like they're starting to attack.
On 2nd down, it's Waters. Got enough for a first with an extra effort. It's amazing.
That's right. And Shane Conlon on that last play got frustrated. That's the other thing, because he had a shot at Ricky Waters. He had a good read. Shane Conlon's a middle linebacker. He had a good read. He hit that hole, that off-tackle hole, got in there, had him in the backfield, and missed the tackle.
1st and 10. This is Waters again. Maintained his balance for a little while and dived forward for his trip with Mark Logan, who is yet to carry in the 49er backfield. Waters again. Logan leads. Conlon again, along with Mark Boutte. Sean Gilbert. 1st down, San Francisco at the Ram 31. Jones in motion. Young back to throw. Taylor, incomplete. Covered by Steve Israel. Flag on the play.
For the ball, pass the receiver, 15 yards, 1st down.
Michael Stewart.
Yeah, Israel's the short guy. You see 31, then 23 comes across. That's okay right there, and right there is what they called the penalty for. After the ball was thrown, it was over Taylor's head. Then Michael Stewart came in to put the finishing touches on it.
And it looked as if he got the worst end of it. 1st down, nevertheless.
Yeah, John Taylor.
As Waters came out of there in motion. Rams jumped across too early.
Full start. Number 81 of the offense, prior to the snap, 5 yards, still 1st down.
81, of course, is Jamie Williams, who's on that play.
That's how they performed inside the 20 this year. Like it could be the same play. Let's try it again. Young. Incomplete. Jones had it on his fingertips for a moment, and the hit by Stewart knocked it loose.
Back inside on that post. That was a good pattern, and it was a good throw, but this is a heck of a play by Michael Stewart right there, number 23.
Waters taken down by Conlon.
That was the same play. Conlon got him that time. They ran that same play before. Conlon hit the hole the same way, but now, if you watch Conlon, he's here. He's going to hit the hole here. The last time he hit the hole, made a good read just like that and missed the tackle. This time he sees it, stays inside a little, lets it come to him, and boom, makes a tackle right there. You don't want to overrun that thing. You just stay inside a little, then when he commits, you commit.
3 wide receivers for San Francisco. Here's Young. Caught by Jerry Rice at about the 2.
Is trying to fire up the crowd here. Jerry Rice really worked that area. He ran a hook in there, and then he kept moving and kept moving and kept moving. See, now Steve Young is looking for Jerry Rice. Watch him here. He's looking, he's looking, he's looking, he's looking, then he finally finds the move that he wanted. Rice started inside, then he went back outside, then inside, then back outside.
First and goal from the 2 water. Not quite.
Now watch Jerry Rice here in the pattern that he's going to run. It's just going to be a hook in the middle. You see, if he's going to come up here, now, if we can stop it here, now he has to work, see, because there's a guy here and a guy here, and he's going to keep working between defenders, trying to find his quarterback. And he just kept working and working, then he found that spot right there, and then Steve Young found him in that spot.
Made sure he had the ball before he started to run. Ball at the 1. In the end zone is Ricky Waters. Touchdown, San Francisco. Well, you hear about all the weapons they have. How they can hurt you, how they can score, and that's a pretty good illustration, that drive.
And it kind of all started with that unsportsmanlike conduct. They moved him way back, and they said, okay, that's the way we're going to play it. Let's go after him, and they went after him.
Extra point attempt by Kofer is not good. The hold, that was a high snap. Wilspire got it down. Kofer missed. 6-3 San Francisco.
Here we go. Whoa.
Buy any Bigfoot pizza and get a free trial month of HBO. Just mail in the coupon.
Well, back to you, Jen. Who are you?
Bigfoot pizza, a legendary.
Mark, Ricky Waters, who just scored the touchdown to put the 49ers ahead. They missed the extra point, so it's 6-3. And let's have another look at the touchdown.
This is just good running by Ricky Waters, because he's going to come over here, and there's really a couple of guys left there for him to take. I mean, there's a couple of guys. Michael Stewart wasn't blocked. He just made a cut off of Stewart into the end zone.
Kofer's kickoff sails to Griffith, who will down it in the end zone. 6-3. 1:42 left first. Beautiful bright day at Candlestick Park. Guy McIntyre changing the cleats on his shoes. The fellow there changed heads. So did he. I hope.
It's a great thing about Halloween. You can be for one day, you can be anything you want to be, and then when you're anything you want to be, you can say anything you want to say.
Bettis over the right side. That is Jim Everett, who had started 87 consecutive games before today. He was replaced last week in a game against Detroit by T.J. Rubley, and Rubley is the quarterback, and now the most is by Steve Young.
That goes way down to the 20.
This is Bettis. He handled for Rams first down out to the 35. He can wear whatever towel he wants. Look at this.
Of course, when Dan Marino was there, then when he went out, it became Jim Everett with 87, and now with Jim Everett not starting, the active quarterbacks.
Yard line. 6-3, 49ers lead it. Rubley. Pass is batted up and intercepted by John Johnson. deflected and picked off by the 49ers. John Johnson. Not going to get rid of that ball anytime soon. 15 seconds left to play in the first quarter. On Madden, San Francisco leads the Rams 6-3. 49ers get a turnover, the interception by Johnson, and they have it 1st and 10 at the Ram 42. Young on first. Intended for Jones. Deflected.
Yeah, watch this interception here, Pat, and the job that Ted Washington does. He gets his hand up right there. See, he closes that lane down. Ted Washington gets his hand, then he tips the ball goes up in the air, and then John Johnson makes the interception. But Ted Washington, you know, the quarterback has to find the lane. Rubley found the lane. Ted Washington closed the lane with his body and then with his right hand.
2nd and 10. Outside to Logan. And a flag on the play. He was knocked out of bounds by Pfeiffer, but a penalty marker down. Excuse me.
5 yards. Number 31 of the defense.
Dale Hamer.
I think early in this game we've had more face mask penalties. I think that's the 3rd or 4th face mask penalty we've had so far.
You know, you were talking about something there, John. Dallas leads Philadelphia 3-0. About those passes. As we begin the second quarter, 6-3. Fred Stokes, who normally starts when he's healthy at defensive end for the Rams, is not even here. Chuck Knox gave him permission to stay in Los Angeles, go to Los Angeles, because his wife is expecting a child. So he normally plays right defensive end. That's Waters. Logan, beg your pardon. Tony Woods has taken his place.
Start with some betters, but with the 49ers, you know, having so many weapons, so many guns, and the capability of scoring so many points, and they know that eventually they're going to have to get into a shootout, and they're going to have to.
Steve Young to the 15. That looks familiar.
I tell you, you show him any little hole, he's going to take it. Watch this. He's going to go back to the and see a gap here in the left. If we can just stop it now, you see, this is what he sees. He sees this running out here with his back to him. He sees a hole here. The next ram is here. So here's a ram. Here's a ram. That means that this is all a hole to run in. Now that.
First down at about the 16 for San Francisco. Flag on the play. Waters might have.
Tam took off.
1st and 15. Rice goes in motion. Waters tried to make a cut. Lost his footing on that slippery part of what used to be the baseball infield.
Yeah, you see, he's going to start here. Waters is going to start from the left. Then they got 3 guys. They've got that bunch, and they all break out. They all come in. He was the shortest guy. That was a good pass pattern, and then he just went to make a cut. Boom, both feet went up in the air. He may check those cleats now.
Brings up 2nd and 9. Dexter Carter goes in motion this time. Here's Young. Taylor, touchdown. Juggling touchdown for John Taylor. Steve Israel was the cover man, but that time the juggle paid off for Taylor.
That was a heck of a play by John Taylor. Steve Israel wondering what the heck he has to do. He has good coverage on Taylor. Taylor just stays with it. Yeah, they talk about receivers concentrating and all that, looking the ball into your hands, staying with it. John Taylor does all that on this play. Hits it with his right hand once, twice, and then just tips it right into both hands. That was a heck of a play by John Taylor. John Taylor's having a heck of a first half here today.
This extra point this time is good. And the 49ers now lead 13-3. 14, the Rams 3. John Taylor just made one heck of a play.
And if you're going to make a heck of a play, you might as well make a heck of a play on the first one for the year.
Yeah. Boykin back to Darrell Boykin back deep for the Rams. Along with Howard Griffith. And Kofor will kick off. Boykin. About a yard deep in the end zone. To the 21. Sanjay Beach made the tackle.
You know, watch John Taylor now, how he's going one way and he leaves his right hand behind. See, he's going towards the end zone and he leaves his right hand there, just tips it, and then tips it ahead into both. You see, he's going, tips with the right hand into both in the end zone. That's concentration, that's staying with a pass. And that's different from where you're going to go.
Back to throw it.
He's old Ted Washington woke up. Yeah. You know, he's been kind of a silent guy in this 49er defense for a while, but he was the guy that made the tip that gave the interception to John Johnson. Now he just makes a sack. He makes a good move on Newberry, and boom, he comes right up the middle.
Rubley's pass is incomplete. Intended for Pat Carter.
Well, you know what it does? It puts big guys in the middle, and then Earl Ashmore, a first-year man there. So that's a tough deal with a rookie quarterback.
Here's Rubley. They blitz him. Rubley comes out. He had that in mind from the beginning. Out to about the 27, a couple of yards short of the first down. And they'll have to punt. Ball McJulian to punt it. Wobbly. Hit by a couple of the Rams. I don't think any of the 49ers touched it. Well, maybe they did. They think they...
Well, there was one official pointed that way. Yeah. One official pointed at the Rams' ball. In fact, he's still pointing. The official would have the helmet. That means that it hit one of the 49ers. Dexter Carter was back there saying, stay away from it.
Wasn't Dexter Carter.
No, there's Dexter Carter there. He's number 35. He's signaling, stay away, stay away, stay away. But then I don't know why he dove for it. It looks like the one guy, Russell, came in there, and it could have been him. He looked like he was trying to get it.
Looked like. Bettis is deep. Bettis, the ball carrier. For about 3. Fagan, 52.
You see it right there. Did it hit Kelm, and then watch Russell come in.
Rubley to throw. Incomplete. And a little too big a hurry. Intended for Henry Ellard.
And he had time because he had a good play fake. That was where you fake the run and cards. There's 7 boys in his family, and there were 5 other quarterbacks.
He's been trained to play quarterback since he was in grammar school. This is not grammar school. Rubley swarmed on. And down he goes.
Hey, this is what the 49er defense needed. They needed a game like this where they could just tee off, and that's what they're doing. Watch them here. They got fresh pass rushes in there. As I said earlier, they're getting a push. They're pushing the pocket. Good coverage downfield. Then when they get that, boy, do those red jerseys smell that quarterback in trouble.
McJulian in punt formation. Maybe a fake. from it. And McJulian's punt sails in.
Okay.
Great. Okay. I'll see you later. Right. Bye-bye.
T.J. Rubley making his first NFL start is 1 out of 5. Ricky Waters 7 rushes, 25 yards. John Taylor 2 receptions, 1 for a touchdown, a juggling touchdown. Here just a moment ago, John.
Well, you know, if you look, number 52, Larry Kelm, the ball is going to hit his back right there in the punt. So now Carter knows that it's a live thing, so then he went for it, then Russell went for it, and that's how the Rams got it. But the 49er defense came in and just shut the Rams out and let them do it.
Young gets it to Logan. Logan gets to about the 32. That should be enough for a first down. Tony Woods tripped him up.
See, there comes a point in it.
Push him, but they might have to. Jones in motion. That's Waters. Hit behind the line. Scramble back close to the original line of scrimmage. One of them is Andrew. The other, Ricky Waters. That was Amp Lee out of the backfield. Stopped by Rolling and Conlon.
Yeah, the funny thing you always hear about, you know Jerry Rice, who I think is, and is a tough guy. He's always there and makes some big plays too.
3rd and short. Waters. First down, San Francisco.
He was blocked by Jerry Rice. More things you can do.
1st and 10. Both backs out. Incomplete. Over Waters' head. He didn't expect it.
And he wasn't even, look, the whole world sees, hey man, you were dogging it right on television.
He didn't hire on to do that.
Hired on to run his pass patterns. He did. He was too tired.
Here's Young. Still looking. Like he looked one way and threw the other way. Nate Singleton was the intended receiver.
Time, he can take deeper drops, and then his wide receivers can run deeper pass patterns.
3rd and 10. The 49ers at their own 44. Young again. Rams blitz. Stewart chasing Young. Incomplete. Had to throw retreating. Singleton again. The intended receiver. Mark Logan. Get extra support. Standing back for the Rams at the 10. Wilkes-Myers' punt this time was a good one. Johnson made the catch, held on, and a 49ers grasp. Somebody had him around the waist. Adrian Hardy was right there. 36-yard punt. Flag on the play. 6:17 left to play in the first half.
Single 5 yards from the spot of the catch. Timeout.
Their own 15. Rubley remains the quarterback. Bettis. Stopped by Mike Walter.
Yeah, if you watch Todd Kinchin on that last play, they gave him a penalty for an invalid fair catch signal. I think he was just balancing himself to catch a ball. I don't think he ever was making any kind of fair catch signal. He
Never
got
did look like it.
No, he got pummeled by a bunch of red jerseys, and then on top of it, he got a 5-yard penalty for an invalid signal that he didn't give.
Did well to hang on to it.
He was just trying to get in position to catch a ball and balance himself.
2nd down. Rubley. Sacked by Stubblefield.
Rubley looked like a quarterback starting his first NFL game here on this one. Watch, he doesn't even drop back far enough. He's looking to run all the way. He just stops back. You see it. He's just looking for something to run. He didn't look downfield. He didn't try and pass the ball or anything. He just looked at the rush and it just stopped right there. His pressure so far, he's been sacked 3 times, hurried 5 times, knocked down 4 times, had a batted ball and an interception.
3rd and 9. This time he gets back. They're blitzing. His arm came forward, no question about that. We'll see what they rule. He was hit just as he let it go.
He was hit by John Johnson from the backside. They're ruling fumble, and they're ruling 49ers ball. John Johnson comes from the right side. He's unblocked. Number 55, you see him from his backside right here. Ruble's looking that way. He goes to throw it. Now, I think that John Johnson hit the arm before it went forward. As Johnson is 55, the ball goes back. Now, see, when he puts it back there, it's knocked out. Now the ball's out of there. Then the arm comes forward.
It's 1st and goal, San Francisco at the 3. One-handed out of bounds, didn't score.
That's Jerry Rice. You always teach him down there, if you're running that pattern, get it in the end zone. Jerry Rice thinks that he did get it in the end zone. He's arguing down there that he was in the end zone. He's still saying that he had it and he was over. Again, he put it in his right hand.
Put the ball over.
That's what they're saying.
But watch what he does with the ball.
This was pretty smart. He puts the ball in, but you see, he's out of bounds before he put the ball in. Thinking on your
That is thinking, and quick thinking. On 2nd down. That's Logan. Touchdown, 49ers.
So the old tape job worked. Last time we saw Logan, he was on the sideline and they were putting a tape job over his shoe. Next time we see Logan, he's carrying a football off the field after scoring a touchdown.
Wilmsmeyer will hold for Kofer. At San Francisco 20. The Rams 3 with 4:38 left to play in the first half. At Summerall with John Madden. Mark Logan, who just scored the 5th touchdown of his season to put the 49ers ahead 20-3. Kofer will kick off to Darrell Boykin, Howard Griffin. Boykin is number 21. That's Griffin. Short kick. Boykin at the 10. Out to about the 28.
There's Bob McKittrick, the offensive line in the back, but they get accused of leg whipping and stuff, but that's what an offensive line coach does. I mean, you don't have big old pockets to store stuff, so you just kind of got to stick the leftovers in your pants. By each series is a separate category.
Cleveland Gary was the ball carrier. Flag on the play.
Now the flag came. This 49er group is just going to put their ears back and come.
Ruble tripped and hit, and down he goes. Troy Wilson.
There's a guy the 49ers are really excited about, Troy Wilson. He came to training camp out of Pittsburgh State, and he was just a natural pass rusher. You know, he has great speed and quickness. He got injured, and then they just got him healthy a couple weeks ago, and George Seaver was telling us that he thinks that this guy, whatever that is that Charles Haley had and some of these pass rushers have, this guy has a little of it.
That was Gary with the ball, but another marker on the play. There's Jim Everett. Starting to wonder, not that far back. Here's Ruble. Got Henry Ellard outside the 30 to about the 32. Not enough for a first down.
Now this is a tough thing when you make a decision like that to go with a guy like Ruble against a team like the 49ers that are going to score a lot of points on you. You know, when do you go back to it? I mean, got yourself into this mess, now sleep in it.
McJulian's punt goes to Dexter. Larry Kelm, ex-Ram, made the recovery. That's next Sunday. Right now, 49ers and Rams. Ricky Waters by Stewart. The NFC East standings after the Giants lost today. They lost to the Jets.
Offense, 10 yards. Repeat first down.
Holding against. Well, there's one thing about Halloween, as you said.
One day, they would rather be what they are one day on Halloween or rather be what they are the other days.
Most of the cases we just saw, I think it's the other day. Logan hit down hard by Steve Israel.
Yeah, one thing they always complain about Candlestick here and how, you know, the players slip and it's soft and it's grass and it is all those things, but it's probably also the safest surface that you can play on. You know, I think if they had this kind of surface instead of artificial turf, there'd be a heck of a lot fewer injuries.
2-minute warning. 2 left in the first half.
Hardship and an ease to have and to hold from this day forth.
I do.
Second and 11. Young to throw it. Waters knocked down outside the 40, about the 43.
Well, Ricky Waters knew he was in on that pass pattern. The last time, he didn't think he was in on it. He was kind of dogging it, and they threw it to him. Here, he knew he was in it. I mean, he comes flying out of that backfield. You can see Steve Young is watching him all the way. He starts up the middle, comes back to the inside, then up the middle again, and makes a big first down. Great first down.
Gets up nicely. Pass to Rice. Another first down.
It was funny how the 49ers started today. It was that, you know, that big 15-yard penalty. It was kind of like they were asleep, and then they just kind of woke up, and since then, they've been hitting on all cylinders. Watch Jerry Rice here. See, now Jerry Rice can run longer patterns because he has better pass protection. Steve Young can drop deeper, and then everything can work. You know what happens if you don't have your pass protection, then the quarterback has to take a shorter drop, then he has to get rid of the ball more quickly, and then the receivers can't run as deep a pattern.
Topher and Wilmsmeyer getting ready in case the 49ers need a field goal coming up at the half. Don't forget scores and highlights. Greg and Terry back in the New York studios will bring you up to date here. The 49ers pretty much in charge of things as they want, leading 20-3 and on the move again. Rice wide right. Taylor's to the left. Of the Rams to hit him. Clock still running, a minute 10 left in the first half. 49ers have 2 timeouts left. Outside the water. Taken down by Roman Pfeiffer with one hand.
Yeah, who's doing a good job is that inside of the 49er offensive line. Jesse Sapullo, Guy McIntyre, and Ralph Tam are really handling that middle.
51 seconds left. 51 seconds left to play in the first half at Candlestick. The 49er timeout situation. They have 1 left. The Rams have 3. 3rd and 2. San running. Todd Light made the stop. He's pretty much following Rice wherever he goes. Here's Young. Nobody's following him wherever he goes. And he slides at the 15. And while he's down, calls the timeout. The final one for the 49ers. They lead 20-3. 19 seconds left to play in the first half. 49ers trying to get more.
Will we claim the new Norelco razor shaves closer than ever?
San Francisco, the 49ers 20. The Rams 3. 49ers have it 1st and 10 at the Rams 16. Two big guys in the middle of the Ram defense is the reason for their improvement, but they've been out there a long time. Waters comes in motion. Young to throw it. And Logan wide open. He gets down to about the 7 or 8.
Now he has to get up there. They don't have any timeouts. If he didn't throw that ball in the end zone right out of bounds, he has to throw the ball down to stop the clock, and he did.
He did. 1 second. 1 second left.
That was living dangerously. Usually with no timeouts and you throw the ball, you can't throw it inside. You have to throw it either to the sideline or into the end zone. Steve Young lucked out on that one.
Well, he's been called, was called a couple of times last week for not knowing the rule on how you intentionally ground the pass to stop the clock. That time he got it done. Hofer's kick from 25 yards is good. Half is over. The 49ers lead it by 20 points, 23-3. That's the end of the first half with the score. San Francisco 23, the Rams 3. Rams 23-3. Halftime statistics: -7 yards for the Rams passing, 157 for the 49ers. As I'm sure you know, it was T.J. Rubley who has replaced Jim Everett at quarterback. There is T.J. and there is Jim Everett. He loosened up a moment, took off his baseball cap, put on his helmet. But now back to the jacket, back to the baseball cap. It appears that it will be Rubley. The Rams will get the ball first.
Yeah, the thing with the 49ers is, of course, they got those turnovers, and then they got, 2 touchdowns off turnovers. But they really have control of this game. I mean, they've been able to pass the ball kind of at will. They've had great pass protection. And to me, that's the key of it. I mean, you have a Jerry Rice, you have a John Taylor, you have Brent Jones, Ricky Waters, and all that, but none of that stuff works if the offensive line doesn't do their job. And this 49er offensive line in the first half really did their job.
Well, as the years have passed, the 49ers, Guy McIntyre has been there. There have been other changes, and people have said they're not big enough. They can't get the job done against an NFL team with big players, but they continue to get it done.
I'll tell you, they're handling these 2 big defensive tackles of the Rams today.
Howard Griffith at the 15. A lot of running, but not much yardage. Adrian Hardy down to make the stop. 1st and 10 Rams at their own 15. It is T.J. Rubley at quarterback.
Yeah, and I think as well as the 49er offensive line has been doing, I think the 49er defensive line is kind of coming into their own today. I mean, they 3 weeks ago they went to that 4-man line, and now they got those big guys. Ted Washington is having a big first half today, or a big game. Dennis Brown could always be a player there. Kevin Fagan, we know what he is, and they're kind of dominating the Rams offense too.
This is Bettis. Jerome Bettis for about 3. And they put some pressure on Rubley. The 49ers defense has.
If you look, they've sacked him 4 times, 5 hurries, knocked him down 6 times, 1 batted ball, an interception. And then, of course, remember, John Johnson came on that that blitz, and he stripped him and caused a fumble. So that 49er defense in the first half really raised havoc with the Rams.
Now Rubley makes himself 2 sandwiches to eat at the half. I wonder if they had any drastic effect.
He said it's just for fuel. We'll see if he got that thing fueled up.
Pass is caught after being deflected, caught by Kinchin.
We'll see Kinchin out here. Now this is a double zone, a zone rotation where they bump. Now Kinchin wants to come under control between the short guy, who was Eric Davis, and the deep guy, who was Tim McDonald. Luckily he got a deflection there, and he was just running a hook pattern. He just reacted to the deflection.
First down, Rams. Lunged away from a couple of tacklers and got 2-3 yards. Mike Walter made sure he stayed down.
But you see what happens when you can't pass or don't pass, then the secondary starts inching up, and on that play, Bettis runs the ball, and there were 11 red shirts at or around the line of scrimmage. They have no respect for the pass. They have no respect for the speed. They have no respect for anything deep, so they're just playing very aggressively on first and second down for the runs.
Close to another Ram first down. Wrestled down by Mike Walter.
I think one of the things that is hurting Rubley, obviously, is his right tackle. I mean, he lost Jackie Slater, and then Robert Jenkins played there, and then now Ashmore's playing there. So Jackie Slater is his best offensive lineman, so they're a little weaker at that position. And then they lost Flipper Anderson, and Flipper Anderson is his big play wide receiver. I mean, his speed.
Rubley will try it again. Throws it out of bounds over the head of the 49er bench. Out of range of everybody. That's a good spot for it.
I think, you can't come back then. I mean, Rubley, if you read deep and you read that long deep, then you can't come back short, because there's nothing there. I mean, John Johnson was on Jerome Bettis. There was no one to throw to or nothing to throw to. It looked like someone said something to Jim Everett, and he started to run. I don't know, now he's just standing there, but he looked like someone said something.
Didn't excite him too much.
No, I would be surprised if Jim Everett played today. I would.
Second and 10. This is Bettis. Bettis with some room from behind by Dana Hall.
In fact, that was one of the things. I mean, this thing has really bothered Jim Everett, obviously, being taken out last week and then not starting today. And he says, well, we'll find out one thing. He said, we'll find out if that 2-5 record is my fault.
And he says, I'll be back. I promise you, I'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams obviously have a lot more problems with their team than Jim Everett's performance.
Third down. Rubley back to throw. A little uneasy. Again, a deflected pass caught by Troy Drayton.
I think there's been more deflected passes in this game than any other game. But, quarterbacks are taking shorter drops. And if you take shorter drops, then you're going to be closer to the line of scrimmage. And if you're close to the line of scrimmage, you're getting pushed like that. All it has to do is a guy just raise his head a little. I don't even know that they raise their hand. It's just a push, and he just hits his own guy in the helmet. I mean, that's the quarterback's fault. I mean, obviously, you have to throw it over the guy's helmet. But the other thing is you have to find the lane. That's your responsibility.
Great effort by Drayton to make the completion. Here's Bettis. Bettis to the San Francisco 40 and a flag on the play. Stopped by Stubblefield. Face mask. We've seen more deflections and more face masks.
Yeah, that's the game. When you think of this game this year at Candlestick, you're going to think of those two things. You're going to think face masks and deflections. There's the face mask right there. It was there, but You know, those face masks are getting so big when they protrude that anytime you go to tackle, you have to reach for something, and sometimes the first thing that you touch when you reach is going to be a face mask.
First down, Rams at the 49ers 35. Rubley back to throw it, going deep. Kinchin. Touchdown. Heck of a catch. Covered by Eric Davis. Rubley from 35 yards away to Todd Kinchin.
Hey, he had him on a post. Kinchin is the outside guy. Now he's on Eric Davis. You start up and then you run into the post. Run right into the goal post. That was a perfect throw by Rubley. He threw it right up over where the only guy was going to catch it was Kinchin.
For the extra points in Tejas. And the Rams put their first touchdown on the board today. Rubley to Kinchin. And it's 23-10.
He's going to run a post pattern. Now, anytime you run a post pattern, you say, what happened to the safety? This safety is doubling over here on Henry Ellard, and that lets Kinchin get into the post. Now, that's what puts Eric Davis, see, up on top of the screen all by himself. Safety comes to this side to double. Kinchin has that whole field of the post, runs it right up the hash mark.
Zendejas starts his motor. He's going to kick off. And Lee to the 40. '49ers take over. Back at Candlestick Park, T.J. Rubley, number 12, just threw that touchdown pass to Todd Kinchin. His career long, his first NFL touchdown. 49er ball at their own 39. Change their coverage. Didn't do any good. That's Taylor. Put on the brakes. Spun around.
I wouldn't be that comfortable, would you, when some guy had a pair of scissors like that, you have your mouth open? You know, we were talking about Steve Young and the protection he's had. Look, no sacks, 4 hurries, only been knocked down 1 time, no batted balls, no interception. He's had a very, very clean game for a quarterback.
Here's Steve. Could be a lateral. That could be a lateral. Young gets on it. He thought it was a lateral.
Yeah, and he should know because he's the guy who threw it. Watch, he takes a real short drop here. It's a 3-step drop, and now he steps up, and then he's going to throw that ball. That was a lateral. He threw that from behind. Ricky Waters tried to catch it with one hand. Now, Shane Conlon is right there, 56. If he jumps on the ball, that would have been the Ram ball. Although I don't know that the officials said that it was a lateral, though.
Yes, they did. Second and 7. They gave him 3 yards. They gave him Young scrambled after it. Inside the Ram 40, about the 38.
Remember when the Jets beat the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III?
Remember it well.
Yeah, it all started that way. We were playing the New York Jets in a championship game. We threw Darryl LaMonica threw a swing pass. It was a lateral, and they picked it up.
The Colts were favored by at least 20 points.
Right, and of course the Jets and Joe Namath and the prediction and all that happened because of that. But we were going the same direction. It was about the same place in the field.
Here's Young back to throw. Going to outside, it's batted down. Gerald Robinson knocked it down.
But, you know, Gerald Robinson started on the left defensive side, and now he's playing the right defensive side. You see, he was just going against Steve Wallace there, just got up the field, and then as Steve Young went to throw that short pass there, he just jumped up and knocked it down. again, that I don't know what Steve Young ate at halftime, but he's kind of out of sync this half.
He ate the wrong sandwich.
Maybe that sandwich or 2 sandwiches from Rubley at halftime did give him some fuel. He threw his longest touchdown pass of his NFL career.
Wilms-Myers hangs up a long time. Bounced over the head of the 49er, who was down in good shape. Hardy. He was there, but the ball bounced over his head, and they'll bring it out to the 20. 7:49 left to play in the third quarter. 49ers 23-10 over the Rams. Jerry Rice.
Yeah, Jerry Rice had a stiff neck just before we left. He was looking up in the air, and then the guy brought some like hot stuff and was rubbing it on that left cord on his neck there.
It's a handoff to Venice. He moves the pile a little bit, and then it moves him back a little bit. Kevin Fagan.
You know, watch, McDonald is up there, and the whole group is getting up there. This thing, you see how they play solid. They just take on their men. They're right up there in the line of scrimmage. See 46 come in there. When you see the safety making plays on the line of scrimmage, then they aren't really respecting that first down pass. And they aren't out there. They're not running that double coverage and all. They're freeing up that safety to be able to hit those inside holes.
To throw it. Throws it behind Drayton. Incomplete.
You know, Tim McDonald has really brought something to this 49er defense. We were talking to Eric Davis yesterday, and he says, you know, that you need someone to go to, you know, to ask, you know, what do you do here? What do you do in this situation? Been in a Pro Bowl, 7th season in the league. He and Eric Davis arrive every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. Their first meeting's at 7:30, but they come in at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch game films by themselves before the coaches get there.
6 a.m. that is. Martin Harrison jumped across the line. I don't know if it was he who was offside.
Prior to the snap, number
False
77
start.
to the offense. 5 yards.
It's Ashmore again. He's had a tough day.
Yeah, he has. He has a couple of penalties where he lined up in the backfield, and there he just started. You see on the shift, he started to wiggle. Do you see that?
Yeah.
That was around here. Someone could think, hey, that might be an earthquake or something.
He's set up in the backfield. Rubley has it batted up in the air again. This time by Dennis Brown.
Rubley's fault. I mean, he's not getting back far enough away. He has to get back and find the lanes. Just watch, he's trying to throw out there to the right, and again, that's over Ashmore. You see Dennis Brown just got his left hand up and knocked that ball down. Either quarterbacks are getting worse at that, or defensive pass rushers are getting better at getting their hands up and knocking balls down.
One thing for sure, the defensive linemen are getting bigger, taller. So are the offensive linemen. That's another factor. Line kickoff. Dexter Carter gets away from it. And it's going to be dead at about the 49er 47. 23-10. 49ers lead. Tonight on CBS, the Russian military takes Ed Bradley to a missile base where nuclear warheads are still armed and still aimed at the United States on 60 Minutes tonight. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday movie, No Child of Mine, starring Patty Duke, Tracy Nelson, and Susan Blakely. All tonight on CBS. 49er ball. Young to Waters. Ricky Waters to about the Ram 46, stopped by Rolling Shane Conlon.
You know, the Rams made an interesting adjustment. We talked about it earlier. Fred Stokes, their normal starting right defensive end, isn't here today because his wife is having a baby. So Tony Woods, number 91, started at right end. The Gerald Robinson at left end. then they flip-flop. And now we see Woods is playing over here on the left side, and Gerald Robinson is playing in Stokes' place over on the right side.
They've done a better job since that switch. Here's Young out of the pocket. Looking for room to run and finding some. Steve Young tripped up at about the 33 by Tony Wood.
And Steve Young got something knocked out of him there. I think it's the wind. But anytime he can fight, see, he's going to fake, and he's coming out on a bootleg. Now, this is a bootleg pass where you fake one way and then you go out the other way. He just saw something open, and when this guy runs, I mean, he's not only big and strong and fast, but he's a good natural runner. Although he doesn't know how to fall. I mean, he went down awfully hard.
He got a first down at the Ram 32. This time it's the Water. He draws a crowd in a hurry, led by Conlon and Sean Gilbert. And Sean Gilbert, you say 6'5", 310 pounds. He fills up a door, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and he's a real good player too. He's good against the run. He's a good pass rusher. Although I think Guy McIntyre and Justice Apollo have done an excellent job against him today. But he's only in his second year, and this guy one day is going to become a Pro Bowl player, and then he doesn't get hurt, be a Pro Bowl player for a long time.
Playing with a strained hamstring right now, so he really can't push off like he normally does. Young. Another juggling catch, this time by Waters. Those of you who might have watched the Miami-Kansas City game saw running back Harvey Williams on the field for a long, long time. Immobilized, finally taken off on a stretcher. The word on him that he is suffering a concussion. He is okay, has full movement of arms and legs. He's going to be kept in the Miami Hospital, South Florida, for observation. And that's good news. That's Jerry Rice. Lost the ball for a second after spinning away from a couple of tacklers. The ball bounced right back to him, and he came up with it appears.
Now, what the official is saying is that the ball was down before the fumble anyway. I mean, he pointed to the ground, and that meant that that's a 49ers ball, no matter what happened after that. But see, here's the great thing about Jerry Rice, is when he's on the left, Steve Young and he have great timing. See, 1, 2, 3, drop, perfect throw, but he's always thinking a run. Some guys think get open and catch, and that's it. Jerry Rice thinks get open, catch, and then run.
And he does it extremely well. Logan spins away from one tackler, finally brought down by Gerald Robinson.
But you know, that pass to Jerry Rice, I think that they can do better. That 3-step drop, that quick slant, I think is a lot better when Jerry Rice is on the left, because Steve Young can set it up quicker and throw it quicker, and Jerry Rice can hit the slant quicker than he can when he's on the right. 2nd and 6 at the Ram 12.
49ers leading 23-10. Logan is the lone setback. Now he comes out in motion. Young Jones to about the 4. Shane Conlon took him down. The 49ers will have it 1st and goal at that point.
And Brent Jones hasn't caught a lot today or been looked at. He's been going mostly to his wide receivers and back. That time he just spread them out. He had 2 wide receivers on one side, both backs out of the backfield on the right, and then Brent Jones. So we had 5 guys out, spread out across the field.
1st and goal from a 3. That was Jones' first catch of the day. 2 tight ends out. Logan to the 1.
Getting in there, but behind Ralph Tam and Harris Barton. And I think you want to keep this thing away from Gilbert. Sean Gilbert playing on that other side, probably the best run player of the Ram defense. So if you're going to get some movement, I think they're trying to do it on that right side there. More, I think, staying away from Sean Gilbert than anything else.
2nd and goal at the 1. Young throws it away. Had to make it a decision whether to force it or just get rid of it.
Yeah, it was good coverage. You see, here's Jerry Rice here, and he's coming out here, and see, he wants to hit him right now. And if he didn't hit him then it was too late, because now he has the coverage. So he either had to bring that thing up and hit him right as he started his sprint, or throw it away like he did there. He waited too long on that one.
3rd and goal at the 1. Waters and Logan behind Young. That's Rice in motion. Struggling for touchdown. No signal yet from the officials. He didn't make it.
I'll tell you one thing, those were 3 plays that didn't look very good. Logan didn't run very hard. Then on the 2nd down play, Young didn't get rid of the ball, and it doesn't look like Ricky Waters ran very hard on that play. When you run short yardage and goal line, you got to get behind your shoulder pad. Watch him right here. He's up too high. He gets straightened up. You got to get down. You got to get underneath. You got to get behind those pads.
4th and goal. He got in.
Ricky Waters is still mad. I think he's mad that he didn't get in, but he was too high on that play.
Touchdown 49ers. Not Waters. It was Logan.
And he knows that he should have had the 3rd down one. And now if you don't make it on 3rd down, then you got to be a blocker on 4th down. He makes a good block there on 4th down now. I mean, that was a good lead block.
34 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Extra points good. 49ers will lead it 30-10. It's the pirouette and figure skating test event featuring the ladies' technical program and the men's free skate. We get set for the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, those 2 things go together. That old pirouette and a guy wearing a pumpkin on his head.
Is that a pirouette?
Yeah, he's pirouetting with a pumpkin on his head and an arrow in it. How do you decide you're going to do that? What are you going to be for Halloween? Well, I'm going to put a pumpkin on my head like a ram, and I'm going to stick an arrow in it, and I'm going to dance the game.
I hope I never have to make that decision.
How about that guy that got married in the parking lot? How do you think he made that decision? I bet you, he said, will you marry me? And she said, yeah. And he said, where do you want to get married? And I'll bet you she said, I don't care.
And he said, in the parking lot at Candlestick Park?
Yeah, she had to say, I don't care.
Boy, that's romantic.
Well, you know, it's Halloween. I mean, the whole thing, it's kind of a whole spirit of, you know, Halloween and people wearing pumpkins on their head and people getting married in the thing. T.J. Rubley starting his first game of his life.
But most of those people wearing things like that are kidding about it. If you get married, that's no kidding.
That's for real, but I'm sure she said she doesn't care where she gets married. So the guy said, okay, get married at a 49er game.
That's Venice. George Seifert done a whale of a job since he took over the 49ers.
He sure has, and I'll tell you, this sets a record too for head coaches that have ropes hanging down the back of their head. Because, you know, George Seifert always had to see Chuck Knox. That's a new thing, and then you have a contest who has the longest rope down the back of his head.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: the 49ers 30, the Rams 10. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Batted balls today. There's a guy who stopped one too many.
You want to see something interesting? Reaction time. Watch, they have a camera right there or a television there. There, they finally recognize.
Hey, it's us.
Yeah. That's how you just reaction time. How long does it take to react to know that it's you?
Depends on what time of day it is.
Those about 10 seconds there. They were looking and said, hey, look at those funny. Oh, it's us.
Rubley's pass complete to Tim Lester.
Yeah, Rubley last week when they put him in, it was in the third quarter. And he really hadn't played and hadn't practiced much, and they just pointed to him and said, get ready. And I said, well, what's the first thing you did? And he said, I went over and got some air in my helmet. Because those things, you know, they have holes in there and they pump the air in those helmets. And he said he hadn't been playing, so he didn't need any air in his helmet since preseason. The thing went flat.
His helmet was like a flat tire, he said. This is a planned play by Rubley as he gets a Ram first down. Martin Harrison tripped him up.
I think he's doing it a little too quickly, though. I think, you know, if it's a draw, you have to get back and sell it a little more and let those guys get up the field. That time, he made a first down, but he tried that a couple times earlier, and he just got knocked right back at the line of scrimmage.
First and 10 Rams at their own 35. We're in the fourth quarter at Candlestick, 13:45 left to play. E.J. Rubley back to throw. Pass is caught by Pat Carter on his knees.
One thing about Rubley is he does have a quick arm and he does have a strong arm. And he's had probably, you know, a lot of times when you practice, you don't practice live, obviously, and you don't practice with linemen rushing, and so you don't know about lanes and seams and quickness and pace and all those things. And I think that's what's getting him more today, more than anything else.
Second and 3. To about the 45, near a first down. Dana Stubblefield and Mike Walter made the stop.
Yeah, if you look at T.J. Rubley, and we look at what he did last week, you see last week he came in and he completed 12 passes out of 17 for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he hasn't done that well today. I know in the pregame show, Terry Bradshaw was saying that maybe a young guy is better coming off the bench. Let Everett start and keep bringing in it T.J. Rubley off the bench.
It was Bettis to about midfield. The thing about Bettis, it looks like he's not getting much done, but when they unstack, get everybody off the top, he's got 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, he's a big guy, and he is the size of a fullback, or he's darn near the size of a guard.
Yeah.
But he runs like a tailback. He has some moves. He has movement too, so he has movement with a load, and that's a pretty good combination.
Here's Rubley to throw it up the middle. To Drayton is close to another Ram first down. Bettis has 17 carries for 73 yards since he became a regular. He has been contributing. There's Vern Brostek.
He's a good player, Vern Brostek, and he's a center. Now look at here. See, this is the way he looks. See, he got all that hair there. Then he decided that he didn't want the hair, so he had it shaved off. He didn't know who would do it, so he had one of his linemen, Jeff Pawahuka, just shaved it off, just shaved his whole head off.
Almost all of it.
All his hair off, not his head.
This is Kitchen. Todd Kitchen inside the 49er 40 to about the 36 on the reverse.
Brostek, he has to be the biggest surfer in the world, though. Yeah, we watch him. He's the center here. He does a good job, you know, of getting that nose tackle turned. I mean, he gets into the nose tackle and then gets him turned, and then he can go and get that next guy. But he has to be the biggest surfer in the world. Lives in Hawaii, and he has a board. He said it's called a tanker. It's 11 foot long, a surfboard.
Here's Bettis again. And that should be enough for another Ram first down. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the CBS, the San Francisco 49ers, and the National Football League is prohibited. First down, Rams at the 49er 32. Pettis again. This time, nothing doing.
That was a heck of a play by Tim McDonald. Tim McDonald plays a run extremely well, and he's a strong safety, and he's really going to play the sweep well because he's going to get a force. And you watch as the sweep starts out, watch number 46 come up and force this thing. You see right there, you see he's right up there in the line of scrimmage. He's the guy that made that whole pileup. I mean, he's good to, force and get up the field and make everything cut back in or fall over you.
Here's Rubley semi-rolling. Intended for Kinchin, who is knocked out of bounds by Eric Davis. And I mean knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, well, that's the time when you can really knock them out of bounds because they don't have any cleats in the ground. Kinchin was up in the air. Watch him, he's up in the air, and then Eric Davis hits him. That's the time, you see, because you can't do anything about it. Like you're just falling and you can't get up, and a guy pushes you, you just go. There's nothing to keep you where you are.
3rd and 14. That was Carter in motion. Ruby's pass to Everett. To Ellard. To Everett. He's not playing yet. Rubley to Henry Ellard.
That'd be an interesting combination. Yeah, one of the guys not playing for the 49ers today, in fact, he's inactive, was Todd Kelly. He was a guy who was a #1 draft choice, rookie starter. He played that elephant position. Went about 3 or 4 games, didn't have any plays, so then he went where he didn't start. Then he went all the way today where he's not even active.
Now they've done away with that elephant position. They went to the 4-man line. Here's Pettis. Hit behind the line by Merton Hanks this time. Good play by Merton Hanks.
I'll tell you, that's what the 49ers do well. Their corners, whether it's Merton Hanks on that side or Eric Davis on the other side or Tim McDonald, when it's safety force, they get up and force. Now watch 36. See him get up there, take on the block, and make a play in the backfield. That is excellent, excellent cornerback play. Because you not only have to get up, but you have to get off a block and make a tackle. So those are 3 things there. Read it, get up, take on a block, make a tackle.
On 2nd and 12. Rubley gets a block. Has time. Going to be intended for Henry Ellard, but thrown out of the end zone.
That's the life that a T.J. Rubley brings up. Like we said, he didn't know. We were talking to him last night. He didn't know, what was going to happen today. And we talked to Ernie Zampese. He didn't know. Chuck Knox didn't know. No one seemed to know. We're finding out, and whatever it is, it's kind of the unexpected.
3rd down now, and about 12. Crowd chanting defense. For the 49ers to hold. Here's Rubley back to throw.
Kinchin is saying it should be a touchdown.
He got up in a hurry. What do they say?
They're saying it's a Rams ball, 1st down. Kinchin was trying to say that he caught it and had possession. It should have been a touchdown. The officials agree that he caught it and had possession. Watch here, Rubley, watch him step up and zip this thing. I mean, he could put something on that ball. Kinchin catches it, come down with one and the other, and he went to score the touchdown. If the ball breaks a plane, that's a touchdown. Kinchin was right.
Pettis. No signal yet except from Rubley. Touchdown, yes. Pettis scores for the Rams. Heck play by Todd Kinchin.
That was a nice throw by Rubley, too. I mean, he can, you know, he did find Kinchin and did step up there and throw that thing.
6:50 left, and the Rams close to 30-16, trying to make it 17 within Dejas. Mike Pagel is the holder. San Francisco 30, the Los Angeles Rams 17.
We have
T.J. Rubley of the Rams, 11 out of 20, 135 yards. A touchdown, 1 interception. Steve Young is 20 out of 31, 1 touchdown. Rams have 2 turnovers, the 49ers 1. And San Francisco leads it 30-17 with 6:50 left to play.
The 49ers are in their onside prevent. This is what they call their hands team. You see they have 9 men up there. 1 man about halfway back or back about 10 yards, and then just 1 deep guy. Zendejas is asking for a holder. Wyman Henderson comes in to hold, so this is, he probably wants to be able to get it and hold it down so he can put something on it. If you like to get these things to roll and then jump up in the air so your guys can get it.
Start it spinning.
Yeah, he's talking to all his guys on his left. You would assume he's going to kick it to his left. You never know with a kicker. The heck is that?
That's a grounder. Dexter Carter. Carter gets it back to about the 22, where the 49ers will take over 1st and 10 there.
I think Zendejas kicked a pooch. I think he called that a pooch, and he tried to kick it over, you know, the front. They had all those 9 guys up in front. I think he tried to kick it over them into a hole. See, now he's going to explain what he did.
It was a
listen to what he should have done.
Texas leaguer just over the infield.
I think that face mask isn't going to protect him if he has to get in a heavy-duty nose tackle play.
Somehow I doubt that's going to happen. Here's Young outside to Ricky Waters.
You don't think Chuck Knox is ever going to say, hey, Zendejas, get in there at nose tackle?
No. I doubt it. Hard to figure what happened to New Orleans. After off to that sensational start, all of a sudden they can't stop anybody. Today it was interception and fumble returns.
You know, that will usually do it. And if you look at something, you know, and something is unexpected, there's usually a lot of turnovers involved.
And that's what's happened in New Orleans. What happened to Ricky Waters was he got hit behind the line of scrimmage by Woods.
And Mark Boutte, watch Boutte here, 96. I mean, he comes in here and he just makes a play with his arm. I mean, these guys are so big and so strong. Watch it when he gets there. I mean, he just breaches that arm there. Boom, he hits the first guy. Boutte just grabs around the neck. And I tell you, there's about 900 pounds a guy on Waters.
And it's 3rd and 9 or 8. Steve Young puts Ricky Waters in motion. Here's Steve. Scramble for the first down. Put a pretty good stop-start move on.
I think he reads Steve Wallace's block. Watch Steve Wallace here. The minute the guy takes an inside move, Steve Wallace will knock him down, and then Young knows that he can get outside. Wallace, one of the best tackles in the league. But see, if a guy gets inside here, he just takes a boom. He lets him in there. He sees that he has the outside. Now he knows that he can get to the outside.
It's a good move right here.
Yeah, well, then once he gets outside, and then he can use his feet and the football and everything to make moves. But Steve Wallace started that play.
Waters. McIntyre blocking. Gets another 49er first down. Shane Conlon tripped him up.
Wasn't that something yesterday at the 49er practice field when we saw Steve Wallace. He had his grandmother there, his father, his mother, and his 2 daughters there, and he brought them all in. And then the comedian George Wallace is Steve Wallace's uncle, and they're all here at the game today, all the Wallaces. Right. Watching big old number 74, the big old left tackle.
Very proud of him. As well they should be. 4.5 minutes left.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And by Coca-Cola Classic, always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola.
49er ball. 4.5 minutes left to play. They lead 30-17, second and a yard. Waters has the yard and more. Stopped by Michael Stewart. Timeout.
There's the 2 corners of the 49ers we were talking about, Eric Davis, Merton Hanks. As have done a good job of coverage today, but more importantly than that, with these 49er corners, I think they've done a good job against the run. And we talk about the force, the outside guy having to get up. They've done excellent today.
For an NFL update, let's again go back to our New York studio, Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, at Phoenix, Wade Wilson. Plenty of time. Quinn Early, literally the post pattern, 25 yards in the touchdown. They're tied at 17, just under 12 minutes to play in the game in Phoenix, Pat.
30-17 here at Candlestick. The 49ers leading the Rams. Today's game was produced by Bob Stinner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The coordinating producer of the NFL today is Eric Mann, directed by Larry Cavallina. Senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. The executive in charge of production is Rick Gentile.
The guy we're looking at right there is Tom Rathman, starting fullback for the 49ers, had shoulder surgery. Be out, probably miss a couple more weeks, and be back when they have the real stretch run.
More than shoulder surgery. He had a lot of parts fixed.
He has a lot of parts hurt.
Logan, who took his place. Stopped by Shane Conlon again.
I stopped in Nebraska on my way across the country. When you go across the country, you go on Highway 80, and I stopped in Grand Island, Nebraska. And that's where Tom Rathman's from. And I'll tell you, everyone come up from the whole town just to tell me to say hello to Tom Rathman when I saw him.
I know he recommended a restaurant for you also.
I'll be there.
Dallas for the match between the Giants and the Cowboys at Texas Stadium. The Jets beat the Giants today. Their record is now 5-2. Dallas is beating Philadelphia 16-10. If they continue, their record would be 5-2. Young overthrows Rice. That's the way it stands at the moment. The Giants, as I said, 5-2. Dallas still playing against Philadelphia, leading 16-10. If they hang on, they would be 5-2. Philadelphia 4-3. Phoenix tied with New Orleans now, and Washington.
Washington is really struggling. Philadelphia, I mean, they've lost so many players, but I'll tell you, Rich Kotite and his staff have really hung in there, and they do a heck of a job.
Young. Out and away. Taylor. Out of bounds at the 4. Steve Israel on the coverage.
Steve Young is having fun playing today, Pat. This is a quarterback's dream when you can do this type of thing, and I say it all again, it all starts with protection. This offensive line has done an outstanding job. The guy gets inside, he commits, Steve Wallace takes him inside, Steve Young sees that, reads that, then looks downfield and sees and reads John Taylor for a big play. Steve Young could feel that type of stuff. You know, that stuff where Wallace takes a guy inside, that he can go outside, buy a little more time, and then look again and find a receiver.
And that makes it 1st and goal for the 49ers. Touchdown. Flag on the play, however.
doesn't want that one called back. He's had a tough time scoring today. Remember, he got that 3rd down one, and he stood up. Here he gets a penalty.
Number 81 of the offense, 10 yards.
Holding call against Jamie Williams.
Ricky Waters, he wants those touchdowns. He wants those scores, and he's had a couple. I mean, he should have had 2 today. Now they take Jamie Williams out. Of course, part of that is because they're in long yardage now. It's not the same situation. It wasn't because he held. So they have to go back to an open formation and put John Taylor back into the wide receiver. 1st and goal from the 14. That's Waters, stacked up at about the 11. There goes his helmet. Hey, some bad things happen when you go in there. And Sean Gilbert is in there. This is the one thing that he's tough to do. It's tough to run inside. They get a double team on him. They fill that hole, but they still didn't get him moved. They still didn't get Gilbert moved. They had McIntyre, Sapolo on him, and then boom, he gets hit at the line, and whap, off goes the hat. And then out comes Ricky. A lot of bad things can happen when you get in that middle without a hat. Well, 2 bad things happened to him in a row. One, he had the touchdown. He had that called back. Then he had to go in the middle and didn't have the hat. Clock running. Well, now there's a timeout taken by San Francisco with 3:10 left. Steve Young has been superb today, though. I mean, he has. He's been really calm and just like he's out there, just like he's playing a game, and maybe more importantly, like he's enjoying playing the game. T.J. Rubley started at quarterback after an impressive showing last week for the Rams. Started this week. Has been shaky at times, but has hung in there. You know, in the way that Steve Young and the 49ers are playing today, I think that they're really taking control of this division, too. The Saints got off to an early start, but they aren't in the same league, I don't think, with the 49ers, although they beat the 49ers early. And I think, you know, that kind of made a race there, a race that may not be there. I still think in the NFC, the 2 best teams are the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys, or the Dallas Cowboys first. Young handoff is to Waters, who spins down to about the 4. Roman Pfeiffer tripped him up. And when you get good blocking, even if bad things happen at the beginning, you can still make something out of it. Watch this play, how it starts here. Looks like Steve Young kind of fumbled it, and then he gets tackled by Sean Gilbert as he hands off to Ricky Waters. So about 3 bad things happened right there. But if you're blocking and you're running and you have another team beaten down, you can still make 7 yards. 3rd and goal from the 4. This is the lone setback. And the handoff off to Ricky Waters. They were ready. Those Rams showed up in a hurry, didn't they? They were just waiting for Ricky Waters to do that. I don't know if George Seiferd's trying to laugh or what, but Ricky Waters started out there, and they were waiting. There was no place to go. He tried to get his hat and come back, but he couldn't do it. Yeah. Watch it. He stopped and said, well, I can't go here. Let me see if I can come back here. And there's nothing there when you come back. Talk about getting cut off at the pass. He was cut off. Well, they let him in once. There was a penalty. They had to bring him back. They weren't going to let him have that one again. No. 30-17. 2 minutes left. 2-0. Yeah, a double different. Stuff like that happens down in the goal line. Blow your shoulders out. From 28 yards away to attempt the field goal, which is good. As the 49ers 33, the Rams 17. A minute 56 remains. You know, the interesting thing now is both of these teams have a bye next week, and the 49ers probably don't want one. I mean, they're finally getting to be a team now. Their defense is better. Their offense looks in sync. Steve Young is playing well, the offensive line. But the Rams, I think, could probably use a bye. And then they're going to have 2 weeks with that quarterback thing. Do you stay with T.J. Rubley, or do you go back now with Jim Everett? And you know, a bye is a time that if you have injuries, it's good. Anything else, I think it's bad.
George Seifert was saying to us yesterday, I don't want another bye. Yes, it's helped us on occasions when we had injured players, but it interrupts your whole routine, and you get a rhythm going, you get something rolling, and all of a sudden you got a week off.
Well, coaches and players like to get in ruts. And once you get in those ruts, you just want to stay in those ruts. You don't want to get knocked out of your ruts like we see the AFC Central. They've been in a rut. They got some good ruts going, and then boom, they're knocked right out of the ruts.
They don't play. Can't get out of the ruts if you don't play. Can't stay in the ruts if you don't play.
You got to go eat rutabagas.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Rams will take over at their own 20. T.J. Rubley continues as the quarterback.
Yeah, we were talking about T.J. Rubley and how his, you know, of course, he followed his brothers, and his brothers were really his idols. But as a pro quarterback, it was Joe Namath. And it was interesting that the last quarterback that wore number 12 for the Los Angeles Rams was Joe Namath.
There he is, back to throw. No chance.
That was a jailbreak at the beginning and an avalanche at the end.
Just disappeared.
And they're just taking the thing and pushing it. Watch Dennis Brown here, and just watch how strong he is. I mean, you get into a guy, and then you get his hands going, and then once you get him straightened up, you can just push everything and collapse him right back to the quarterback.
Rubley's pass is picked off by Merton Hanks. Touchdown, San Francisco. That's Magruder, is it not? Michael Magruder, not Hanks.
Yeah, Magruder's a nickelback. He was in there, and he's the guy, you know, since the Dallas game. Remember Michael Irvin working on Magruder. Anytime they get in nickel now, people go to work on Magruder. They see 26 in there, they want to go to work on him. Of course, if he gets that, they're going to stop going to work on 26. You see this prevent defense, they're all back there. He's going to look over here to his left, throw it out, and there's Michael Magruder just waiting there for it. Henry Ellard was the receiver. He didn't have a chance.
That's 21 points, or this will be 21 points that the 49ers have gotten today off Ram turnovers.
You know, and that's when the 49ers have been their best, when they've played good defense and when they've gotten a lot of turnovers. Remember a few years ago, they led the league in that takeaway giveaway thing. They were plus 23, and that's what they haven't had this year. And if they're going to be a championship team, that's what they have to get back to again.
40-17 now.
That's tough. I mean, what Jim Everett is going through, I mean, you think you start 87 straight games, you're the starting quarterback for all those years, you go to Pro Bowls, you lead your team to championships.
Tough what he's going through, too.
And he's doing the same thing. I mean, he's been in big games, and then to have a team in a year like this and where you just don't have the players. You know, and it's not something you look, who do you blame? Well, there's not, you just don't have enough guys. But you can't blame one. And again, you get back to Jim Everett and say, well, 2 and 5 isn't all Jim Everett.
No. No way. Gophers kickoff. Returned by Boykin. 49ers cover it down to the 27.
You know, if you look at this, when the 49ers really good, look at 1981. These are their Super Bowl years. They were plus 23. Then in 84, 16, 88, 12, 89, plus 12. This year so far, they're minus 4. In other words, that means that they've given the ball away more than they've taken it away. So they got to get back and get those things going for them. That's part of 49er football, or good 49er football.
Days like today will help. Here's Rubley. Gets it outside to Travis McNeil. Clock continues to run.
Of course, playing the Rams every week would help, too. There's a guy who did a heck of a job today, Jesse Sapolo.
Always does.
You know, we were talking about those big guys, Sean Gilbert, Mark Boutte inside. Jesse and Guy McIntyre and Cam did a good job on it today.
Pass complete to Ellard this time. Just a little bit short of a first down.
There's Brent Jones. I think he only caught one pass all day. It wasn't a day for tight ends. Today was a day for wide receivers and running backs, not for tight ends.
John Brandis talking to him, who played with the Redskins, then the Giants, and here does the long snapping. Rubley. Travis McNeil again. That's enough for a first down, but less than a minute remains.
There's Ricky. He's okay now. He had a good day of running, a lot of yards. He just missed his touchdowns. He didn't get any touchdowns today.
Outside to Cleveland, Gary. Second down, Rams, right at midfield. 2nd and 2 with Rubley back to throw, and down he goes again on the outside by Troy Wilson.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's really going to help the 49ers too, is they got the 4 defensive linemen, but they have guys like Troy Wilson. They have Larry Roberts back now. Artie Smith is going to be a player. They got Fagan, Washington, Dennis Brown. They have plenty of those defensive linemen, so they can keep rotating them now and keep them fresh.
Rubley hit in the back just as he let it go with 12 seconds.
Yeah, that sack there before, that was Troy Wilson's 3rd sack. And again, we were talking about him earlier, that he's just a natural pass rusher. He has good quickness, good feel, and you know, he makes things happen. That Martin Harrison, who got that play there, he's another guy. I mean, he's not big, he's not strong, he's fast, but he has a natural feel for pass rushing. Looks like they were checking Steve Young's thumb on his right hand that time.
Rubley away from one man, still on his feet, and now down he goes. Artie Smith this time. And with 4 seconds left to play.
You know what Steve Young just said there? He said, I can remember those days. He remembers those days when he was at Tampa. He remembers those days when he was in the USFL. Yep, he can remember those days, and he doesn't want those days back, because days like today are great days for Steve Young.
Enjoyable days.
I mean, he's had fun. I mean, this is one of the first times that I've seen a relaxed Steve Young with a smile on his face, and like there's not a big old heavy burden of some kind on his shoulders. But I mean, he's loose and relaxed and having fun and playing the game the way a game should be played.
Should be it with 4 seconds left to play. For John Madden, then, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Candlestick Park, where the score is the 49ers 40, the Rams 17. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show. Greg and Terry will have all the scores, all the highlights. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Tom O'Keefe. First 10 yards and a touchdown, and the Cowboys led 10-0, but here comes Ken O'Brien and the Eagles.
Pass, Play action holds the linebackers. Walker out of the backfield. 1 step's all he needed to make the touchdown reception from O'Brien.
And then Emmitt Smith up the middle for 62 yards and a touchdown. Emmitt 30 carries on the day and a team record 237 yards. Outstanding performance by Emmitt.
What happened? Bud Carson's defense gambled, put 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Blitz went after him, and when you break the line of scrimmage, nobody in support.
All right. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, the New Orleans Saints leading the Cardinals 20-17. Just about 2 minutes to play in that game in Tempe. In San Francisco, the 49ers kill the Rams 40-17. Michael Magruder returning an interception, 32 yards for a touchdown. In Los Angeles, the Chargers leading the Raiders 30-20 in the 4th. In Denver, the Broncos leading the Seattle Seahawks 28-17. Earlier today, the Packers beat the Bears 17-3. Tampa Bay held on to edge Atlanta 31-24. The Giants losing to the Jets at the Meadowlands 10-6. Miami over the Kansas City Chiefs today 30-10. And in Indianapolis, field goal contest won by Dean Diasucci and the Indianapolis Colts 9-6. Indianapolis final score.
They come from China, from Thailand, from England, Germany, France, and Australia.
Emerge from under a giant shadow and have a lot to say in New York. Don Shula looks to tie the Papa Bear with a Dan Marino double, while the latest Papa Bear looks to scare the pack. We'll flip you out, cause we'll dress up like Cowboys and Eagles, Lightning Bolts and Raiders, Saints and Cards, 49ers and Rams. Come with me, join our Halloween party. Prime time is nice. Boy, if they only knew. Hi, everybody. Welcome to NFL Prime Time. I'm Chris Berman. Happy Halloween, everybody. First Halloween Sunday in the NFL since 1976, so a rare chance for us to go trick-or-treating. But you never go trick-or-treating alone, do you? You go with your friends, like Tom Jackson and Robin Roberts, and I think that after Week 8 was kind of a dud. Yeah. A good week of football, and we've got lots to show, so trick-or-treat. Here we go. First, let's get you caught up on the late games around the NFL. Final, Dallas had to struggle in the rain. Nasty conditions, but they finally beat the Philadelphia Eagles 23-10. The Cowboys have now won 5 straight. The Eagles have lost 3 straight. Final in San Francisco, T.J. Rubley's first start for the Rams, not a good one. Well, the Niners look back, don't they? They rolled the Rams 40-17. About 2 minutes to go in this. No, I've just been told it's a final. The New Orleans Saints have come from behind and won in the land of the sun. They beat the Cardinals 20-17. This one's still going on at the Mausoleum under a minute to go. John Carney's field goal has given the Chargers some breathing room. They lead the Raiders 30-20. The Chargers scoring 30 points. That's big, big news. And a final for a mile high. Early lead for the Seahawks, but Elway too much. And the Broncos beat Seattle 28-17 to go over the 500 mark. But where would you start on Halloween? You've got to start orange and black, right? You've got to start Tampa Bay against Atlanta, right? And actually, if you're thinking about going trick-or-treating, you always go, as we said before, with your best of friends and 2 of the longtime friends in the league, Sam Weish and Jerry Glanville. If you believe that, we got some land for the Everglades. Here's Sam. Here's Jerry. Yeah, they're real pleased to see each other. And the Red Gun offense. Bobby Hebert at the helm. The Falcons have won 2 in a row. Hebert back to the count with the 4 receivers, and then a doink off Drew Hill, doink off Monty Cotter, picked off by Hardy Nickerson. At a big game today for the Yuccaneers, and he's finally down at the 34-yard line, Tom.
Yeah, and once a quarterback throws an interception, he just becomes another guy trying to make a tackle, and Ray Seals reminds the quarterback of that.
Craig Erickson. Well, Sam Weish likes his decision-making process. Obviously, he's a youngster, hasn't started many games, and he'll learn. Vince Workman, my way back to you, babe. It's a touchdown, and the Yuccaneers actually lead 7-0. Then, no bad news for Tampa Bay. Reggie Cobb, who had 75 yards before the first half was done, goes down. He was carted off, but the good news is it was only a sprained ankle, so hopefully he'll be back soon. Obviously did not return in this game. But let's get back to Craig Erickson. He had the best day of his career. Goes deep for Horace Copeland. Just burns Scott Cates. He's in the end zone for a touchdown. Seen only by Ozzie Smith. The backflip. It's 24-3. Tampa Bay. More Tampa offense. Hey, 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 we're the Buccaneers. Erickson throwing on the move to Copeland again. It's 31-3, Tampa Bay. Erickson with 4 TDs, 318 yards passing, and for the second time, the backflip. His last 4 catches for Copeland have been for touchdowns. Yes, 2 touchdowns, you get 2 flips. Tampa Bay looked like they were running it up, as you kind of expected. But then, Jerry Glanville's Falcons said, you know what? We got a second half to play here. And on the ensuing kickoff, after the 31-3 lead, Tony Smith tries to get the Falcons moving. He cuts to the left side, gets Wall, then cuts inside and let it go. He goes all the way to the 48-yard line. Atlanta finally has some field. Oh, the photos finally developed in the second half. That's why they knew what they were doing. Hebert to Andre Bad Moon Rising. Good defense. 53-yard touchdown. The Bucs still up comfortably, 31-10. The next Falcon drive down to the 9. It's Hebert to rise into the corner. Touch. 31-17. Don't tell me, Tampa. Don't tell me. Don't do it. For the Bucs 5. Mike Pritchard. It's a touchdown. And the Falcons have cut it to 7. It's 31-24. The Falcons get one last chance. 2 minutes to go. Hebert to the end zone. Michael Haynes. Oh, but Martin Mayhew sneezes the ball out of Haynes' hands. And then Verizon. Just out of his reach, complete on 4th down. You want to drill it, Tom?
Just a case of Hebert trying to be too careful with that pass to Haynes right there.
They'd say that every picture tells a story. This one says the Buccaneers won. By the way, that was Steve DeBerg, the oldest player in the league, I guess finally showing his age. As Tampa Bay has a better record than the Falcons, folks. Tampa Bay beats Atlanta by the count of 31-24, and we told you the big, big day for Craig Erickson. That game turned out to be an exciting game, and Sam and Jerry put on a little show for us.
Yeah, they did. I think the most interesting concept of any...
You that Bria Jager field goal late, but time ran out on the Raiders, and we'll show you highlights of that one later on. Still to come on this edition of NFL Prime Time. The Packers and the Bears. The Bears tried to ram their way through the Pack at the Battle of New York. Lots to say about it. We'll be back. Bears. They've met more often than any 2 teams in the NFL. 146 times. Today they renewed acquaintances on the almost frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And here we go. The Pack. Brett Favre has had 2 big games in leading the Pack back to a 3-3 record. But early on, it's the Bears defense that's big. Mark Carrier makes the pick. And it makes a nifty return down to the Green Bay 17-yard line. The Bears have really had their way up at Lambeau in recent years. Bears would try a field goal, but the Butler couldn't do it. Chris Gardocki decides to, look at the play he makes, almost completes it to Trace Armstrong. It's that Gardocki-Armstrong combination that the Bears ought to think about in future weeks. Mike Holmgren knows they dodged a bullet, and Jim Harbaugh could not dodge this bullet. He's number 95, Bryce Pop.
And a great job of Bryce Pop coming from the top of the screen, turning the corner, using the outside speed rush, and then just having the tenacity to get downfield, get after the quarterback, and make the sack on Harbaugh.
Tony Bennett just in this week, played on nickel situations. It's not Bennett, though. It's number 50, Johnny Holland, to get the sack 3-0 Pack after the first quarter. Second quarter, Brett Favre starts to find Sterling Sharp again. That's a 3rd down completion for a 1st down. Same drive. Favre. Sharp. Zip for 21 yards. That looks sweet. 10-0. Pack. Second quarter. The Bears figure, well, let's try and ram it down their throats. But who better to do it than Ironhead? Ironhead Hayward with a big run. Packers bouncing left and right. But look at Reggie White just power his way to sit on Harbaugh on the 2nd and goal.
Yeah, here on the replay, we watch Reggie White as he spot shadowed inside where he doesn't normally line up. And look at the effect that it has on the offensive line.
The Packers have done a great job. First 6 games, they've held their opponents inside the red zone to only 4 touchdowns. The Bears only get a field goal on that drive. It's 10-3 at the half. Second half, Leroy Butler makes the stick and makes the recovery. Great play by the Packers DB, and Dave Wannstedt says, you know, now we should go with that Gardocki-Armstrong combination. It's 10-3 in the 4th. George Kuntz makes Harbaugh pay for it, forcing the Bears to punt.
And this is the definition of a coverage sack. Harbaugh takes a look downfield, takes the pump, doesn't have the room to throw the ball downfield, gets sacked.
Well, Jim Harbaugh, that picture certainly tells a story. Late in the fourth, under 2 minutes to go. It's still just 10-3. The ball is tipped, and oh boy, Favre to Sharp, they get lucky. Last 4 games against the Bears, Sharp has caught almost 400 yards worth. Same drive, Darrell Thompson seals it. 21-yard run, a nice cut down the sidelines for breathing room. And the Pack have won 3 in a row. The last 3 games, Sharp has caught 10, 10, and 7 today for 75. Pack beat the Bears 17-3. Reggie White with the 3 sacks passes LT for the all-time sack leadership in the Bears' time. He just